Chapter 1: Why you are always stressed, and why it needs to stop. Many of us are unaware of just how serious a problem stress is. We live in a semi-permanent state of anxiety and arousal, but the most shocking part is that we act as this is okay, normal even. After all, everyone else we know is stressed too, so how can it be a big problem? In fact though, stress is a very serious problem that will not only prevent you from fully enjoying your life in the short term, but may make you seriously ill over time. Where does stress come from? You don't need to look hard in order to find where all this stress is coming from in our modern lives. Anything that causes stress is what we refer to as a stressor, and these are all around us, all the time. Some are physical, while others are mental. Consider the way you start your day, by being woken up with a start in the pitch black, by a bleeping noise. Did you know that we chose beeping for alarms because it sounds unnatural? That means that the brain fires up on red alert, and sends panic signals by releasing cortisol and adrenaline into your body. You've only just woken up, and you're already probably suffering from whiplash. Then you rush to get ready, heart racing as you worry about what happens if you're late, and perhaps dread whatever stressful thing you need to handle that day in the office. Then you head off on your commute, people pushing past you and walking toward you. Horns blaring, smoke thick in the air, and bright billboards flashing in your eyes. All these things, vying for your attention. All of them, triggering more spikes in excitatory neurotransmitters. At work, you no doubt need to deal with office politics, with deadlines, with people shouting at you down the phone, with the potential prospect of losing your job if you don't do well, always looming over you. The unnatural light you're bathed in meanwhile triggers even more arousal, with none of the nourishing effects of vitamin D and fresh air. Or maybe you're a stay-at-home parent? In which case your day will revolve around responding to the screams and cries of your child, struggling to keep the house tidy in the time in between, making food in a hot kitchen, worrying about bills. Meanwhile, most of the activities we engage in when we try to relax involve looking at flashing lights and images of people fighting. When we flick through magazines, we find ourselves being constantly pressured to look better, perform better, and spend more money. Even Facebook is filled with people projecting a false image of success, one that we feel pressured to live up to. The function of stress. The purpose of stress is to put our body into a state of high alert. This is what we know as the fight or flight response. This should be a response to immediate danger, that thereby helps to improve our chances of survival in a fight or when fleeing from a fire. Thus, our breathing increases, our body produces more adrenaline and cortisol, our heart rate goes up, our blood viscosity increases to prevent us bleeding out, our pupils dilate to let in more light, and our brain activity goes through the roof thinking of all the possible dangers around us. During this, our blood vessels dilate and restrict in order to control the flow of blood, away from the organs and digestive system, and toward the muscles and brain. This is similar to when the captain of a spaceship in a TV series says, "Reroute all power to thrusters." Even the med bay, sir. Even the med bay. In other words, while your physical and mental performance technically increases, all secondary functions are put on the back burner. You don't need them right now. And in the short term, this is fine. In the long term, chronic stress can ultimately be absolutely crippling as it suppresses the activity of the digestive system, thereby preventing us from properly absorbing nutrients, and as it suppresses the immune system, leaving us open to attack from germs. Stress makes us constantly think of the worst-case scenarios, and so it becomes self-perpetuating. We are stressed about money, and so we become even more stressed about money. We get into arguments with our loved ones. We place strain on our relationships. Our panic leads us to make silly mistakes which put us in further trouble. We bury our head in the sand and ignore important jobs like answering letters and paying bills. It's a lifestyle that is ultimately unsustainable, and that is certainly not rewarding or fulfilled. And that's where meditation comes in, as the most effective way to get your head back above water, and your life back on track. Chapter 2: Just what is meditation? We all have a notion of what meditation is. Most of us picture someone sitting in the lotus position, with their hands balanced delicately on their knees, repeating the sound Om over and over. This is not incorrect, but nor is it a particularly detailed or useful picture of what's really going on. But perhaps asking, "What is meditation?" is actually the wrong question. After all, there are in fact many different types of mediation, each of which utilizes slightly different methods, and has slightly different goals and aims. But with that said, they also still have a lot in common. Let's start by taking a look at each, and then see what we can take from all of them at the end. Types of meditation. Transcendental meditation. One of the most popular and well-known forms of meditation by far is transcendental meditation, or TM. This type of meditation original comes from India during the 1950s and is practiced by many high-profile celebrities. The general concept, however, is very simple and is actually one of the most tested. Simply, practitioners are tasked with completely emptying their minds of all thoughts and all distractions. They do this by focusing on something, which will very often be a mantra. A mantra is just a word or phrase that you repeat over and over, and this could be as simple as the word Om, so that's where that comes from. The mantra should have no meaning, because the aim is not to reflect on meaning and thereby trap yourself at the surface level. The aim though is to focus just on this mantra, and then to allow all other distractions to sink away. If you notice yourself thinking about something else, just calmly bring your mind back to the point of focus and calm. Transcendental meditation is a regulated form of meditation that is led by instructors. However, it is also very similar in aim and method to other forms such as Vedic meditation. We can use TM as a broad term to describe almost any form of meditation where the objective is to empty the mind by focusing on a singular qualia, stimulus. Loving-kindness meditation. Loving-kindness meditation is a form of meditation that involves focusing your attention fully on feelings and thoughts of kindness and love. These can be directed towards others, but they can also be directed towards yourself. That means that you're going to be cultivating these feelings, enjoying the warm bask of kind feelings at times when you're feeling low or stressed, but ultimately reinforcing these habits so that you become more likely to fall back on those kinds of feelings rather than sinking into negativity and doubt quickly. This is a form of Buddhist meditation and is best learned with the help of a teacher, though of course it is possible to practice something very similar on your own. Body scan, progressive relaxation. Body scan meditation is often used in conjunction with mindfulness meditation and is what we can think of as a form of kinesthetic meditation, meaning that the focus is on the body and the way you feel. The aim of this kind of meditation is to gradually move your focus across your body, while relaxing each muscle during the process. Throughout the day, we all carry a lot of tension in our muscles. Some of this is caused by stress, some by knots in the fascia that surround your muscle, and some by normal, healthy tension known as tonus. This is what helps to keep a little tautness in the muscles and prevents our body from completely relaxing in a limp heap. When you use progressive relaxation, your aim is to release as much of this tension as possible, calming the mind as a byproduct. So, you might start by focusing on your forehead. Is there any tension in your brow? How about your ears? Contract each muscle, then make a conscious effort to release it, breathing out slowly as you do in order to ensure that the area is fully relaxed. This form of meditation not only distracts you from your troubles and helps you to get out of your own head, but it also gives you the ability to fully relax on cue. This can be a very useful method for getting to sleep, for example, if you are someone who struggles with insomnia perhaps. Breath awareness meditation. Breath awareness meditation is exactly what it sounds like, a form of meditation that involves focusing your full attention on the breath. This can mean that you count your breaths, that you breathe in a specific manner. Later in this book, we'll talk about yogic belly breathing, or simply that you focus on your breath. Whatever the case, this once again provides you with a single focal point, and the idea is to release all other thoughts so that your mind becomes quiet and calm. Gazing meditation. Gazing meditation is a yogic tradition that is externally focused. All that basically means is that you're going to be focusing on something outside of your own body, which might mean that you're focusing on the movement of a flame, a running river, or something else entirely. If your eyes become tired or you need to blink, close your eyes and try to focus on the after image of what you were gazing at. Then, when ready, open them slowly again. This can again be used in the same way as TM, the idea being to calm the mind and remove distracting and unhelpful thoughts. Many people find this to be one of the easier methods to get started with, as there is a useful outside distraction. Try to think back to the last time that you found yourself gazing off into the distance, having completely lost yourself. That is the state of mind you're trying to get to. Knowing that this is your goal, it can make it easier to return to again. Kundalini Yoga Meditation. Kundalini Yoga Meditation is a form of meditation that incorporates specific movements, diet, and more. The aim is that you're going to be looking to improve your flexibility, muscle tone, and strength, while at the same time calming the mind and improving your breathing, getting a whole lot of bang for your buck. Breathing is performed slightly differently in Kundalini meditation. Here, you block the left nostril and use a long, deep inhalation. Next you block the right nostril, and as you do this, you allow the mind to clear. Nada meditation. Nada meditation is another yogic method that involves using an outside stimulus. This time though, you will be focusing on your other sense, hearing. Nada meditation means focusing on one sound, which can mean listening to the sound of a babbling brook, for instance, the wind, the traffic. You can alternatively open yourself up to all the sounds around you and take a moment to stop and listen to as many sounds as possible. It might surprise you to learn just how many sounds you miss out on normally, and how much you can hear when you broaden your scope. Nada meditation can also be achieved using music, which many people find as an easy way to get themselves lost without thought. Vedic meditation. Vedic meditation is extremely similar to transcendental meditation, but without the branding and marketing. Essentially, it involves focusing on a mantra to calm the mind and body. There is really little functional difference between these two forms of meditation, but seek out TM if you feel the need for an instructor and guidance. Zazen meditation. Zazen meditation is a form of Buddhist meditation. Like TM, it requires an instructor in order to get the real deal, but in practice it is extremely similar to mindfulness meditation, which we will be exploring in much greater depth later. The aim though is essentially to try and detach from the thoughts and to allow them to go past without judgment. You are not emptying the mind, simply disengaging from it. Qi Kung. From Shaolin Kung Fu, Qi Kung is a form of meditation that really means energy work. Its objective is to help practitioners visualize the flow of qi around the body, in order to enhance health and strength. Of course, your belief in qi may vary, but whatever your interpretation, the visualization can help you to better focus the mind and even develop a better connection to your own body. Qi Kung involves holding a number of positions, which place a light amount of strain on the body. This further helps to root the mind in the body, as does gently moving occasionally from one to the other. You will practice controlled breathing, and at the same time bring the mind to the center, or the dantian, which is located a couple of centimeters below the navel and also happens to be the center of gravity. Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a form of meditation that has close links to Qi Kung. Here, the movement is far more continuous, with practitioners gently progressing through a series of stances and movements. Again, the idea is to use this as a form of kinesthetic meditation, wherein the focus on the body helps to clear the mind. At the same time though, this can also be a good way to develop a greater control over the body and greater strength. Each of these movements in fact has a martial application, and when delivered with speed and power can be deadly. Third eye meditation. Whereas Qi Kung focuses the attention on the dantian, just below the navel, this form of meditation involves focusing on the point in the middle of your forehead, just above and between the eyes. Religious meditation. Christian meditation is a form of meditation that, of course, is practiced by Christians. It involves focusing on a passage from the Bible or a prayer, and spending time really reflecting on its meaning and any attached emotion. But this method can of course be used by practitioners of any faith, providing a useful way for them to combine their religion with the health benefits of meditation. Of course, you could just as easily choose to focus on something else. How about thinking about the film you just saw? What about a poem that you respond to deeply? Self-enquiry meditation. For those who want their meditation to be a bit more spiritual but who perhaps don't want to adhere to any particular religion, self-inquiry is an ideal form of meditation. Here, you focus on yourself, your beliefs, and your goals. Where do you see yourself heading in life? What is the meaning of your existence? Are you happy? This is another form of yogic meditation, and of course has a lot of potentially profound benefits. Productive meditation. Productive meditation is distinctly not spiritual, and seems almost to be an anathema to the idea of meditation in a way, though this is not true as we will see in a moment. You see, productive meditation, first suggested by Cal Newport in the book Deep Work, is a type of meditation where the focus is on a problem that you are having in your work or personal life. Or perhaps you're trying to think of something creative? Maybe you're trying to come up with a new idea? Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is the last item on this list, not because it is obscure, in fact it is perhaps the most popular option right now, but because we're about to dive into it in much more detail. This has recently become popular thanks to the prevalence of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, in psychotherapeutic schools, and involves detaching yourself from your thoughts. You do this by deciding to sit back and watch your thoughts go by. Often the analogy is given that you are watching clouds move across the sky. So, you don't tell yourself off for thinking something, and nor do you force a thought. You just let them pass, and you make a conscious effort to be aware of them as they do. Making sense of it all. You got this book so as to understand meditation and hopefully to start incorporating it into your own life and enjoying its benefits. But perhaps you're now reading this and feeling overwhelmed and confused. With so many different kinds of meditation to try, how can you possibly know what the best type is for you? And if there are so many kinds, how can they all be called the same thing? Well, if we look at all these forms of meditation logically, we can see that they actually have a lot in common. Despite their differences, they are all examples of employing focus. You might be focusing on your breathing, you might be focusing on your muscle. You might be focusing on a candle flame, or a babbling brook. You might be focusing on a passage of religious text, or an idea. But in each case, you are focusing. And that's really what the mind needs. In the 21st century, we have all become far too distractible. Everything is vying for our attention, from those billboards we talked about, to the beeps from your phone, to your boss and your partner. All this means that we have very little say over what we think about and when, and we have become bad at deciding to just sit down and focus for a while. And when we do try to, we have somewhat lost the method. That in turn means that when we are worried, or when we are sad, we have lost the ability to not think about it. When we're spending time with friends and loved ones, we may struggle likewise to listen to what they're saying and have fun, rather than thinking about global warming or our bank accounts. That's how meditation helps you to feel calmer and happier. It becomes a place that you can go to at any point to escape all the other thoughts. In doing so, the heart rate slows down, the blood cools, and you feel better. Moreover, learning to focus attention helps you to be more productive when you need to be more creative, to perform better in sports, even in the bedroom. By choosing how to control your attention and what to attend to, you become a master of your own mood, and this puts you back in control. We'll go over more of the benefits of meditation in a subsequent chapter, but for now, that's what you need to know. Now let's get started, shall we? Chapter 3: How to get started with meditation. Now you know what meditation is, and you know about all the different types available. It's time to actually give it a go. This is where most people fall down, but you're not most people, are you? The problem that a lot of people find is that they place too much pressure on themselves to be perfect right away. They are too strict with their approach, and they worry about not having the time. Ultimately, this becomes just another thing they need to do, just another thing they're not doing well enough, just another source of stress. And as you might imagine, that's really not what we're aiming for here. So how do you get started with meditation? Step 1: Pick a style. We've just gone over the many different types of meditation, so now it's time to think about the one that most appeals to you. You don't need to be wed for this forever. Choose the one that you think you might enjoy, and if it doesn't work out, you can always try something different next time. Good ones to start with for beginners are Nada meditation, breath awareness, body scan, mindfulness, TM, Vedic. Another option is to try using a guided meditation. There are plenty of these on YouTube. Just search guided, insert type meditation, and you can also find apps like Headspace, www.headspace.com. Headspace uses mindfulness and is not free, but it is well made, and the first 10 sessions are available without signing up, so there's no reason not to try it. One question many people have is whether they can combine more than one type of meditation. The answer to this is absolutely. Remember, the real benefit you are getting from meditation is that it is going to help you feel a sense of calm and to build your focus. With the overall target being the same, you can liken switching between meditation styles to combining press-ups and bench press in a single workout. Not only is it possible, it will actually help you to get a better end result. But for simplicity, try to stick with one form of meditation to begin with, so that you don't get overwhelmed. Step 2. Find a comfortable space. Where and when should you meditate? As we will see later on, the answer to this is anywhere, anytime. For now though, you might want to start with a comfortable space that is quiet and that free from distractions. Being able to meditate in a crowded coffee shop is a skill in itself, but not really ideal for beginners. What's more is that it can be potentially dangerous, seeing as you will be unaware of your surroundings. Likewise, the mere thought that your peace might be suddenly interrupted can be more than enough to prevent you from getting into a calm state of mind. If you are using a seated form of meditation, then find a comfortable surface where you can sit cross-legged, on your knees, in the lotus position, or otherwise. A chair will do just fine failing that, but it's important that your back be straight in order to encourage proper breathing. More on this in a future chapter. You will want to avoid lying down, as this will make it too easy to fall asleep. While beneficial, sleep is not the same thing as meditation. You can do whatever you like with your hands, but many people find it easiest to place them gently on their legs or knees. Step 3. Set some time. You should now set a defined amount of time. And this is where the next question comes in: what is a good amount of time to meditate for? What is the minimum? And again, the answer to this question is very fluid. If you speak with a longtime practitioner of Vedic meditation, they might tell you to try meditating for 20 minutes twice a day. Indeed, something like this might have a profound effect on your state of mind and your health. But while this is true, it's also more than many people will be able to commit to. If you attempt to meditate for this large amount of time, you may well find that you simply end up quitting and then feeling stressed that you aren't making the progress you hope to see by that stage. So, in fact, just setting a timer for 5 minutes is an absolutely fine way to begin experimenting with meditation, and this will still have a lot of beneficial effects. How you do this is up to you, but setting a timer on a phone, making sure to choose a non-startling tone, is a good way to give yourself a kind of protected bubble of time where you know you won't be interrupted. This allows you to completely relax, knowing that you aren't going to be interrupted and aren't going to accidentally run over into time you need for productive tasks. Even 5 minutes twice a week is fine. But if you can spare the time, aim for 10 minutes a day, or half an hour twice a week for a happy compromise. Some more tips: if your eyes will be open, then what you stare at does have some important bearing on how you feel. If you sit in an untidy room, this can cause a little bit of anxiety and prevent you from properly relaxing. Tidy your space if possible, and better yet, try keeping a room that is emptier and dedicated to meditation. Another option is to head outside. Being immersed in nature is in fact extremely good for your mental health, and this gives you lots of calming option for how to focus. If you have a well-tended garden, then this will do the trick. Otherwise, perhaps there is a favorite spot nearby you could try? You could also find a relaxing place while traveling on holiday. There's nothing quite like taking a moment to sit atop a mountain and drink in a beautiful waterfall, not literally. Note, of course, for forms of meditation that involve standing or moving, you might need to go somewhere else. Many people practice Tai Chi in parks or at the beach, for example. When practicing body scan meditation, make sure your back is supported or you are lying flat, otherwise you risk collapsing. Step 4. Sit quietly. Now it's time to direct your focus to whatever it is that you are going to be focusing on during the meditation. That might be the passage of text, your own mental state, music, a candle, your body. Your objective is to stop your mind from wandering. It is perfectly natural for you to find yourself thinking things like, did I leave the stove on? Or, that guy per gallon was unpleasant to me at work yesterday. In fact, you might also find yourself thinking about your attempt to meditate. Common are thoughts like, wow, I haven't had any thoughts. Or, I am doing really well at meditating, Don't worry if this happens, just like any form of exercise or any new skill, meditation takes practice. So, when you notice that your mind has wandered, all you need to do is to bring your thoughts gently back to the point of focus. Don't punish yourself for giving up, and don't worry if you need to scratch your face. The less you allow these things to bother you, the easier meditation will be. Don't run before you can walk. If all you manage is 5 minutes of sitting relatively quietly, that is still remarkable progress.